guys, I'm Kate. Welcome back to my channel, and today I want to talk about the books that I brought with me on my 8-month long SuperMega solo road trip of the US and Canada. Now this could probably be considered cheating a bit because one, I didn't bring that many books because of reason two, which is throughout my journey, I'm going to be having my family join me for different parts of it. Like my mom is planning on joining me in Vegas in a couple of weeks, and then my mom and my dad are going to join me when I go through parts of Canada, the Vancouver area, and all the way over to like Banff National Park. But I'm going to go over the books today that I brought with me for this first leg of the trip when I'm completely by myself for the first month or so. And for these books, I had somewhat of a system in choosing the ones that I did. And so this first one that I'm going to show you is my non-fiction-y memoir from a comedy kind of book. I love those books. I know it's a very specific genre, but I wanted one of those for sure, just something that I can fall back on, and I find those really rereadable, so I figured throughout the course of the trip, if I needed to come back to it, I could. I also picked two young adult books that I haven't read before, one by an author that I've read before, and one that's a very popular series, but I had people close to me tell me that I wouldn't like it, which I think is interesting because these people I trust a lot in their judgments, and I think that they know my personal taste very well, so I'm super curious. I'd already bought the book and I just haven't read it yet, so this is a great time for me to read it on this trip, and then if I truly don't like it, like they all seem to think I won't, I can give it away at any point. You know, there's tons of libraries that I'm going to be visiting, like even small town ones, that I could just donate a book to, so I might do that. And then finally, I have a nonfiction travel book because I'm going to be traveling, and that's one of my favorite, again, another one of my favorite genres is travel memoirs. Anyways, okay, 4 books that are physical books, and then I'll get to my phone. And first I'm going to start off with the book that I've already finished, which is Carrie Fisher's Wishful Drinking. It's like part memoir or fully memoir. It's so funny. It's like a comedy, honestly, when you're reading it. It is fantastic. But also, like, parts of it are really sad. She just uses humor as a way to, like, talk about important topics and about her life, and you can tell she's very empathetic for the things that she went through in her life, and it's made all the more sad, of course, with her death and then the death of her mother, who she mentions a lot in the book. They were very clearly so close. But this is actually the second book I've read by Carrie Fisher, and I am determined to find more. Also, this book has a ton of pictures. So anyways, it's such a good book. It's really not that long either, about 150 pages or so. I totally recommend everyone read this book. The second one is by the author that I've read before, but the caveat is that I didn't actually like the book that I read. And it was one of those weird books where it's like, I liked it. I kind of liked it while I was reading it, but by the time I got to the end of it, I was like, why did I spend all this time on that book? You know what I mean? Like, it took a lot of time to pick up steam. It was that first book in that Modern Fairies series, Tith by Holly Black, and it took like 100 pages to get into, but like the writing was so beautiful that I think I just stuck it out, even though the story, like, you know, the meat or the heart of the book just wasn't for me. That being said, because I liked it so much, because I think the premise of this is excellent, because so many other people love Holly Black, I brought with me The Coldest Girl in Cold Town. I did pick this up and try and read it those first couple nights that I was camping out. And for those of you who don't know, it's kind of about like monsters and humans, but monsters, and I mean, I should have known from the title, The Coldest Girl in Cold Town, like it's kind of creepy, and I love kind of creepy things, but maybe not when I'm camping by myself. The third book I mentioned real quick is one of Bill Bryson's books called I'm a Stranger Here Myself. He lived abroad for 20 years or so, and then he came back to America to live or tour or something like that. I haven't read the book, and I thought there was no better time to read a book about this when I'm going on a tour of America and Canada myself. This was published in 1999, so almost 20 years ago, which sounds insane as I say it out loud. But something I have noticed with Bill Bryson's other books that I have read is that there's a whole lot of disconnect, because of course the internet wasn't as big or like at all when he wrote some of these books. So it's a totally different world, truly, and so it'll just be interesting to compare if we see some of the same places. That's what I'm most looking forward to. And finally, my fourth and final physical book that I brought with me is the book that I alluded to that my friend said I wouldn't like for some reason, and that is The Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. I follow her on Instagram and Twitter, and I like her content on there. I know that totally doesn't necessarily cross over into books. So like this book. And again, the topic is right up my alley. It's like vaguely dystopian fantasy-esque. Like, I'll read you the first sentence of the back cover. Mayor Barrow's world is divided by blood, those with red and those with silver. I mean, so that should kind of tell you enough where this potentially could be heading. And this book freaking rocked the world when it came out, this entire series. And yet, I was told I wouldn't like it, and I do trust these people. So this is going to be very interesting. But now I want to talk about this little beauty. My phone. So I have the Overdrive and the Libby app, and so I'm on hold for a crap ton of audiobooks, and it has truly been a struggle to not have any audiobooks. I should have planned earlier, I guess. I had no idea how long the audiobooks would take to come free so that I could read them. But what I am reading right now, Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. She is another author that has freaking taken over the world, taken social media by storm, and I have not read any of her books. And so I'm finally reading Eleanor and Park. I think I'm on like chapter 8, so I'm not that far into it. I actually read it while I was eating breakfast alone, which I've talked about how it's hard sometimes to eat by yourself, and breakfast I'm slowly mastering, but this was like a breakfast lunch place, and I didn't know until I sat down that it was much more brunchy and much more like group hangout, and so I was just there by myself, and I didn't bring a physical book with me, but I thought, aha, have phone, will read, have anything, will try to read. And so far, I think it's actually really good. I like it. It's different from a lot of books I've read, just the language that she uses and the time period for this like young adult contemporary that it's set in. You don't get that a lot of days. It's like in the 80s. Can it be considered contemporary if it's not in the time period? What does contemporary really mean? What do any of these genres truly mean? Let's see what I'm on waitlist for though, because it's a lot. My holds include, I think they're all audiobooks, Is Everyone Hanging Out Without Me by Mindy Kaling, Scrappy Little Nobody by Anna Kendrick, Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, which is something that I've been recommended by several other creative types, and I've heard countless stories about how it's kind of really revolutionized the way they thought about creativity and productivity, and I just feel like I need that right now, so I'm very excited. And I did love Eat, Pray, Love, because again, travel books, right up my alley. And Ember in the Ashes by Sabit Tahir, because it's another hugely popular series I haven't read yet. So yeah, those are all the audiobooks I have on hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. And for the record, I am #1 and #2 in all of those, so I have a feeling that when they all finally come up, I'm gonna be listening a bunch. But alright, that's it for me. Please comment down below and let me know what you are currently reading, what you are currently listening to, and or if there's any podcasts that you enjoy that are about writing or creativity or traveling, or honestly, even just podcasts that tell a story. So I guess just all podcasts. What am I saying? I need some fresh ones because I'm currently running out of content that I can be listening to right now. So I would appreciate any and all recommendations. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all very soon with a new video. Bye. But yeah, it would be like young adult contemporary, I think. Now I'm doubting myself. What? I could have sworn I put some stuff on hold. This would be so sad if I find out now that that is why I haven't had any audiobooks.